As 2024 comes to a close, I felt it was time to do a quick roundup of some of the more interesting news bits from across the internet. I've got some new accessories to bring up, new Genesis games to talk about, a few new Saturn English translations to go over, and finally some channel related news you may find interesting. We have a lot to go over, so let's get started. The game controller kings over at 8BitDo dropped a few new products for the 30th anniversary of the Sega Saturn. They have a limited edition mechanical keyboard themed after the white Saturn that comes complete with 87 keys, programmable buttons, volume knob, wireless 2.4 and Bluetooth compatibility, plus a very nice palm rest. It's based on the design they released for a few other consoles like the Famicom and NES a while back. The internal rechargeable battery seems to hold up well, and so far it's been a fantastic replacement for my old worn out office keyboard. I especially like the fact that it's not huge and doesn't take up a ton of desk space. Only 1,994 of these units are being produced, so if you want one, check out the description for more information. It releases on December 20th. 8BitDo also dropped a Bluetooth controller adapter for the Sega Saturn. I didn't think I needed this at first, but quickly changed my mind once it gave me access to the M30. I have loved these pads since they were first released, and now having one on my Saturn is a real positive. In fact, it's part of my permanent setup now. 8BitDo also says that the new Saturn Bluetooth adapter should work with many of their current Bluetooth controllers, Xbox Series pads, PS4 and 5 pads, and Switch Pro controllers, among a number of others. If you want something to use your modern controllers with, this is a device you might should look into. It's $25 and you can get it right now. Remember Xenocider for the Dreamcast? Well, developer Retro Sumis is back with a new Genesis and Dreamcast project called Sovietborgs, a top-down on-foot shooter that puts you in mind of a mix of Gauntlet and Loaded. Set in a world after a Russian AI rains nuclear fire across the globe, your job is to go in and eliminate the remaining opposition, which consists mostly of zombies and mutants at this point. So far, just an early demo build exists to give you an idea of the gameplay, and a Dreamcast version promises to be an upgrade in a number of ways visually. I've been in contact with the developer, who has been providing updates and some concept art that they will be working with. The finished product will have a bunch more weapons, enemies, environments, and items to find. Hopefully they'll add a run or dash in there somewhere. You should be hearing a lot more about this one next year. For more information on the project, I'll link you to a great Dreamcast Junkyard interview so you can have a read. Earthian, or Earth Ion as it may be, is an exciting project from the famed composer Yuzo Koshiro's Ancient. Unfortunately, it was recently announced to be taking a bit longer than previously believed. Ancient is still hard at work on it, and it's still on track for a 2025 release. Also in the news is the fact that an upgraded arcade edition will be available that has improved performance, better audio, and some yet unannounced content additions. We might be waiting a while for this one, but I have a feeling it's gonna be well worth your patience. The Sega Genesis is home to a number of great beat-em-ups, and there is another one in the works using the SGDK. Kirito is a story about a retro YouTuber on the hunt for the goons that stole his gaming collection. The Kickstarter is already above goal, and there's also a demo you can pick up to see if you like things so far. The animation looks pretty solid, and it clearly takes inspiration from a number of popular 16-bit franchises. I'll drop a link in the description so you can take a look and see if it's something you'd like to support. The ever-popular Sega Saturn action RPG Princess Crown has received an English translation. This is a title that I would have thought would have been translated for the Saturn long ago, but the original project languished in unfinished tale for years. Now we have a patch that was built off of that work that translates the story and nearly all of the in-game text. Work continues to iron out bugs and get the remaining game up to snuff. There was some disagreement when this patch was first released because the original team was upset that their work was picked up by someone else and continued. I hope that conflict has been resolved, though it does appear the original team plans to finish a patch of their own. Either way, this title is long overdue for a Saturn English version for fans. Check the description for details on how you can try it out for yourself. Broke Studio, makers of The Cursed Knight, is back with another run-and-gun entry called The Cursed Legacy. This one just had a successful Kickstarter where there was also a demo available for you to play. This one sees some nice enhancements over Broke Studio's previous release and gives us multiple graphic presentations, including some first-person exploration. The game is finished outside of some fine-tuning and will be available March of next year. The final product will have 6 stages, over a dozen boss battles, mini-games, and the ability to save your progress. The gameplay is tough and requires you to really invest in this style of die and retry to get anywhere. If you enjoy a challenge, this one should be right up your alley. There's been a lot of talk about Sega delisting digital games as of late. As of December 6th, the Sega Classics collection has been removed from the PlayStation, Switch, and Xbox storefronts, along with a number of backwards compatible releases on the Xbox, such as Crazy Taxi, Knights, Sonic the Fighters, and Virtua Fighter 2. Likewise, Steam will see a loss of these games as well. Sega has been mum on the issue and offered no real explanation, but I think it's pretty damn clear they're working on a replacement product or service that is yet to be announced. Many have expressed anger at these listings being removed, and while it always sucks to lose retro options, I think patience is the order of the day here. Sega has leveraged their retro products, especially the titles that have been delisted, numerous times across many different platforms. Something is in the pipeline, I feel, and it may be big. I wanted to update you on a few channel going-ons while I was doing this episode, and I had planned on an Atari 7800 Plus review at its release. Unfortunately, the pre-order I had at Amazon for months did not get filled, and I never received it, forcing me to cancel the review. I was genuinely looking forward to this because I was not a 7800 owner back in the day, and have only played a handful of its games with any sincerity. My hope is to get the console eventually when it's available, and have a review for you at some point. While I was busy with my Saturn and 32X 30th anniversary episodes, the original PlayStation's 30th birthday came and went without any fanfare from my channel. That wasn't an oversight, but more a reflection of my personal experience with the device. While I owned a Saturn and 32X pretty much from the moment they were first available, I didn't own a PlayStation until its North American launch, which means that my 30th anniversary celebration won't come until next year. I greatly enjoyed my time with Sony's first console and plan a big episode celebrating that. We will definitely be revisiting this topic again in the future. For you 16-bit vets out there, the not-so-well-known Genesis RPG Traysia is getting a reissue thanks to Shinyuden. This was originally a Telenet Japan release that made its way west courtesy of renovation. The visuals are quite weak, but the story has heart, and the music ain't bad at all. I don't recommend this one highly unless you absolutely love RPGs, and because the asking price of this reissue is above $70. Since I don't have a lot of experience with it myself, I revisited some classic reviews from the media of the day, and needless to say, it was not a well-reviewed product by anyone. Still, it's there if you are interested, and you'll find a link to the pre-order page in the description. There's been a lot of talk about Sega-related FPGA devices as of late. One of those was the SuperSega console that was supposed to play the games from every Sega machine in existence. This one started out suspect because the makers wanted pre-order money before the crowdfunding ever began. Add in some of the worst videos previewing a product ever created, and this one was looking like something you'd want to wait a while before putting in your hard-earned money. Now the creators are saying Sega has attempted to stop the product and requested all the units be destroyed. I am an optimist at heart, my friends, but this one might be something you're gonna want to take a wait and see with. Conversely, the GF1 Neptune is proceeding much more smoothly. There has been a very good video covering the prototype board of this thing, and it sounds like it's gonna be a real dream come true for Sega veterans. I've been in direct contact with these folks, and their plan seems to be far more grounded in reality than the previous project we just talked about, with the added bonus of a name guaranteed not to draw the ire of Sega Sammy. The Neptune is a combination Mega Drive and 32X driven by an FPGA architecture that also has an interface for the Sega CD. The best part is there are no plans for crowdfunding, and this thing should go straight to production with finished units being ready to buy next year. It's based on the planned Sega console that was itself supposed to be a combination of the Genesis and 32X, but was cancelled when Sega realized its plans for two competing 32-bit consoles had fallen flat. The company behind the GF1 Neptune, GamesCare, has also been a part of the retro community for years, providing excellent products like cables, adapters, and switches for a wide variety of situations. If there's one to watch and put your faith in, it's this one. Our final bit of news knocked my socks off. As most of you know, I am a fan of the Super Nintendo release of Batman Returns, preferring it over the Sega-published Genesis release, and then some. For years I had wondered what the Konami version may have looked and sounded like on the Genesis, but alas, it was not to be. Until now. Thanks to a recent update via the Pyron's Lair YouTube site, the Super Nintendo version of Batman Returns is finally making its 16-bit Sega debut on Christmas Day. My excitement level is through the roof, and I present to you the trailer in all its multiplayer glory. As I bring this episode to a close, I wanted to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for a great 2024 for my channel. Whatever holiday you celebrate, or if you celebrate nothing at all, I hope you and the ones you love had a great 2024, and I hope that continues well past the new year. Thank you so much for being part of my journey, and I will catch you next time.